So during this meditation, I would like to encourage people to have a sense of care for yourself. Caring for oneself, we care for others. So having metta or care, friendliness towards this body and towards this mind is quite important. Important for our practice and important for the people around us. Many of us are in the position of being a carer to someone. So if you want to do our caring job well, it is really important that we care for ourselves. So I'm going to do a guided meditation for anybody who wishes to follow. You're welcome. So now I encourage you to feel with your mind's eye your feet. And get in touch with your feet. And see how you can relax your feet. And have a sense of gratitude to your feet for all the walking, all the standing it has done for a long time. We know how important it is to be able to walk and stand. So really have a sense of gratitude to your feet as you relax them. Now bring up your attention to the calves. Many of us have tight calves. Just have kindness and thankfulness and wish them well and see whether they might relax. They are mostly involuntary muscles, but when you have the intention to relax, they may relax. And now bring in the attention to your thighs and your sitting muscles. And also have a gratitude towards your thighs and your sitting muscles for all the walking and sitting that you have done with their support. And invite your thighs and sitting muscles to relax. See what happens. Throughout this whole process, have an attitude that your body is your best friend. Treat it like how you would treat somebody who you really have a lot of affection and care. Similar kind of attitude to this body, who has in fact been your best friend for a long period of time, allowing you to do many things, allowing you to get your goals, reach your goals, practice this path. For everything, this body has been very helpful. Instead of remembering the time it has been sick and difficult, remember the times and the parts of your body that are still well and supporting you enormously. Really bring up a sense of gratitude to your body and start relaxing the whole body. See whether you can get in touch with your digestive system. And see whether you can learn how to relax your gut. This is possible. There are a lot of gut microbiomes as well, which you can spread some kindness and gratitude for digesting all the food and providing the necessary energy for your body and mind to live your life comfortably. See whether you can direct your attention to the liver. You roughly know where it is located. Have a sense of gratitude for cleaning out all the toxins from your body without failing. Without that service, how would you be? You would not live. Now you can bring your attention towards the diaphragm. Many people have very tight diaphragms. With stress, people tend to tighten it. See whether you can release it and relax your diaphragm. Now see whether you can relax your chest. Another place that you hold tightness. Just relaxing it and having a sense of gratitude for that part of your body which contains many vital organs. And have a sense of gratitude to your lungs, which have been breathing since you came into this world. Also helping you with the meditation. A big warm thank you to the lungs as you allow your lungs to relax. Have a sense of gratitude to your heart, which has been working really hard, beating without missing. Imagine what would have happened if your heart decided to have a break. Scary thought. It never took a break. It's been working really hard, pumping how many times a minute. So have a big sense of gratitude for your heart, which helps to keep you alive, in good health. All these organs in our body are like little beings supporting us, like a group of friends looking after and supporting. So really have a sense of gratitude for each part of your body, for all the support it has given for decades. And now relax your shoulders and your hands. Really relax them. And have a sense of gratitude to your hands. And as you come up your neck, you can relax your neck. And now you can relax your jaw. Another place where we hold tightness. You can say a big thank you to your jaw for helping you to speak and eat. And now pay attention to the forehead. And see whether you can relax your forehead. Many people have tight foreheads. And now bring attention to all the muscles around your eyes. Gently close your eyes and relax all the muscles around. with a sense of gratitude for all the seeing, reading that it has allowed us. And relax all of your cheek muscles. And lastly, bring attention to your mouth. Relax your mouth and bring up a beautiful smile. Notice how your mind lifts up as you smile. Now you have a beautiful face and a relaxed body, a sense of gratitude and friendship and care, a very gentle care for your body. And allow your body to relax even further with really warm feelings of care and gratitude, understanding the support it has offered for many years. As you're being aware of the body, as you're allowing it to rest, if you see and feel the natural flow of your breath, then you can keep your attention grounded there. As your body and mind become still. A relaxed body is delightful. See whether you can notice some delight coming up. Now I invite you to take a few moments to see how you feel now. How is your body? And how is your mind? And now I invite you to take 3 long, slow breaths. And at the end of the last one, you can open your eyes and come out of meditation.
Wow, fabulous.
Okay, good.
Dear Ajahns, could you explain investigation of principles? How do we know if we are investigating but not overthinking while meditating? I also would like to say big thank you to the organizer and the kitchen team who give their big heart for running this retreat. Yes, I also would like to join them and say a big thank you for the team. It's really been very nice. So yes, investigating of principles. So this is not something you do during your meditation. Remember we spoke earlier, meditation is a very passive process. So preparations for meditation is done how you live your life up until you come to your seat or your cushion. All of that building up. And when you sit down, karma and effect. So this is the gift. The good meditation or bad meditation is the kind of gift you get. So when you are seated, there is not a lot to do except just, gently stopping any running here and there, just gently stopping. And just being there, being with whatever object, just being there, enjoying, treating it like a friend. But it is after you have come out, after you are, if you've been into a very deep, peaceful state, after having come out, whichever state that it has been, then you can reflect back, paccavekkhana. That is the time that you do the investigations, because during the meditation the mind needs to be as still as possible, but also very aware and alert. So all the information will be there, and if you have managed to investigate, managed to increase the mindfulness, if your mindfulness you don't do anything, it just becomes naturally very strong as the mind becomes more and more still, then when you reflect back, it is able to recall and recollect. That is when you can do. So, but if you did not have very strong mindfulness, then there is not a lot of principles that you can investigate. Still, when you reflect back, you will see, you were restless, or you were sleepy, or something like that. And that's still helpful to know. And you can ask the question, why? What led me to that kind of state? So all that is done after the sit. Okay.
Okay.
What are these?
These are just leftovers and things from yesterday, things that need to go. Yeah, finished. Yeah, all finished. Okay, wow, okay, this is another little essay, which is, usually these essays are nice ones, so that's okay. So we'll see what we have here. So, dear Venerable Teachers, thank you for leading such a helpful and inspiring retreat, because you truly embody the Dhamma. Your teachings resonate deeply with me. While my practice at home has brought me joy and more harmonious relationships, this retreat has been a wake-up call. I realize how much I remain bound to the sensual world, attached to comforts, adventures, and those I love. In meditation, my mind frequently wandered into frivolous thoughts. Thank you for redirecting my path. I now more clearly see the vital importance of right view, meditation, and contemplation on death. I feel incredibly blessed to have been here. Every aspect of the retreat, the facilities, the forest, the staff, the food was superb and clearly provided with great intention. I honor and cherish the time spent here. You have motivated me to study the Suttas and deepening a practice, and I vow to do so. Okay, with great gratitude. Okay, that's wonderful. And don't make sure when you make those vows, make gentle vows, because they can be hard to keep sometimes. So if you feel like keeping the vow, keep it. If you don't feel like keeping it, then don't keep the vow. That's the kind of vow I would make, because it's hard. Yeah, it's fascinating. You go on a retreat and you feel inspired, and maybe you get some nice meditation, and you understand a bit more deeply what is going on. But things change. That inspiration is not always going to be with you. You go back home, things are different, and you lose that sense of, of desire to read the suttas or whatever. And if you lose the desire, then you might feel a bit sad because now it's no longer there. But don't be sad. Don't be depressed about it. Remember, the conditions are different, so you won't have the same ability or motivation to read the suttas or to meditate or whatever. So be kind to yourself. When it comes to vows, be wise when it comes to vows, because they can be very hard to sustain sometimes. Anyway, we'll talk more about that tomorrow, how to sustain your practice in daily life, how to take these things back home.
Another one wasn't a question.
That was
wasn't a question.
You sure?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. We'll see what happens. Dear Ajahns, thank you for the wonderful retreat. There you are. So there's not going to be any questions. I'm going to have to read out every one.
That's great. Yeah. I'm happy to listen.
We really enjoyed it, and it was so nice and deep. Much metta and merit for both of you for teaching us. Much merit for Ajahn Brahma and for all the things he has done for us. Much merit to Leha, Norlia, and all the team. These are such wonderful questions. Yeah, okay, what to say? Now it is definitely your turn. So,
if it's a question, you are answering it. Dear Ajahns, after meditations, I often find myself to be hyper-aware of others' body language and emotions. I find this to be distracting and disturbing at times, especially during social intense situations. Example, staying at a monastery. Sometimes I want to ask what's wrong, or try to help those I feel are unhappy, but feel I would be crossing a boundary. Yes, so yes, this can happen. It becomes possible, but it is important not to send it out too much into the outside. But also we have to be very careful. Again, we could be overestimating as well. So it could be, some of it could be true, it could not yet be true as well. So, but regardless, it is important that if it is especially difficult for you, if it is distracting and disturbing, then keep your senses inward like a turtle, like, bringing all your limbs inside and stay and go inside and use that awareness, that heightened mindfulness to understand this body and mind. That is much better use. However, for some people it is not a problem. They can have this awareness and not get disturbed or distracted by it. And it is nice to have some sensitivity, because you can then use it to gently help as an act of generosity. You can use to build up compassion. So sometimes you can silently, if you don't want to engage, if you feel that you'll be crossing somebody's boundary, you can still in your mind use that whatever opportunity to do compassion in your heart. That's a good way to do, because you're aware and you bring up compassion. And the other thing is, there are ways of helping people without having to cross the boundary. So find skillful means. There's plenty available, education available, I'm sure, how you can sort of let somebody know that you are there to help, or if they need anything. But there is a way that you could let them know in a way that they don't feel upset or feel that you have crossed a boundary. So there are many skillful means. I'm not an expert on this, but I know it's available. There's a lot of training, a lot of guidelines. So find that out and do that, and it's beautiful. It is nice to have sensitive people around so that you can care. Because sometimes, people do need care. I feel really amazed when I see some people, how sensitive and caring they are. They're very quick to, get you the tissue box or do something very nice and sweet. But some people also have an understanding what's the right thing to do. I'm not one of those people. I end up doing the wrong thing, often trying to help. So I have to learn a little bit more about this, But the most important thing is how you feel, and using that to build up your own practice, your Brahma Viharas. But in Digha Nikaya, which sutta the Buddha talks about the 4 different types of mind reading?
Maybe Sankiti Sutta.
One of them, I don't know how accurate these things are. Digha Nikaya is a bit dodgy, would you say? Not all of it, some of it. But it is given, there are 4 different ways of reading mind. Are you interested? Mind reading. It sounds interesting, but like once Ajahn Brahmali was saying, once if you really read, you think, oh, why do I want to have all this garbage from other people? But it says one of the ways is through body language. Like the first method is being able to read body language and know. So this is easy, this is most of us can do, right? We can read body language, and that is important. So you may not really read the exact mind, but you would know somebody's angry or somebody's sad, somebody is... and the animals and little kids can do this as well. They're very sensitive. So having some sensitivity is helpful. But the second one is through non-human beings. So some people, when they develop meditation, or some people without meditation also has the ability to communicate either with devas or maybe also with hungry ghosts as well. All kinds of beings are out there, so you have to be very careful. This is not a really great one as well, but people use them. So those non-human beings can read other people's minds, so they talk to you saying exactly what's going on. It's not a really good thing, but this is done. You can see people using this ability. But the last 2 are the more real psychic abilities, in the sense coming out of deep meditation. In that one, one of them, you are able to sink into somebody's vitakka and vichara. So whatever the thoughts that are going on currently, so if I just say, I would like to have a banana right now, a sweet banana, if I say like that, or a random something, then that person will know exactly all those words, just as I thought about it, right? So without missing anything. It's not the general idea, but exactly what I said. A green color banana or white, yellow banana, or this type, whatever it is, so it's a real ability. The last one is the interesting one. It has some interesting information. So the people with the last one are able to say what you're about to say. You're going to say a little later. Even you don't know what you're going to say. You think you thought about what you're going to say right now, but somebody who has this psychic ability to know even what you're going to say a little later. Because our speech is already conditioned. Even what I'm saying right now for this question, it is kind of preconditioned already. Things are already set up. When I read that, it felt like, in the airport, all the planes are lined up for taking off. They go in order and they start taking off. Like that, we also have a lot of our thoughts already lined up. We are not necessarily very aware of what's going to come up next, but somebody who has this ability can sink into your sankhara formations. So they already see. So this is where you get surprised. Somebody says already, this is not these coincidences and somebody just says, this happens, I don't know why that happens, but not like that, but somebody really knows. But anyway, that was what it was. Is that right? Correct? Did I remember well?
I can't even remember. I'm very impressed that you got all of these things. Yeah,
it was exciting, right? So I remembered it. So, anyway, you can read it up. I can't remember.
Which one of those 4 do you recommend?
The last two.
The last two.
The other things are dangerous.
Okay.
First one you can get wrong sometimes, and second one is a very dangerous business to deal with non-human beings. There is no such thing as a free cup of tea. They will have some ulterior motivations as well, and you'd be in trouble with them. Do you need entertainment? Do you feel like entertainment? I can entertain you with this one. Shall we spend some time entertaining?
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, absolutely, of course. Yeah.
Who has seen the movie called Bedazzled? Anybody? Nobody? Oh, that's such a Dhamma movie. This came out in 2000 something. There was a movie by the same name, a British movie in 1960s. As well. The same was remade with new people. But the thing is, in this movie, so this guy, I can't remember exactly what my memory is not, I remember only the important part. Somehow, this guy ended up making a deal with the devil. The devil happens to be a beautiful woman. She's not really the devil, it says like the devil, but she's a witch. I can't remember, I think she gets into some kind of trouble and he helps her out or something. Somehow something happens and then she grants him 7 wishes, 7 or 8 or something wishes, because she was very grateful that this ordinary guy helped her out or something. Somehow he ends up making a deal of some kind, I can't remember how, but anyway, so he's got these wishes, right? So in the meantime, he was working somewhere and there was this beautiful girl that he really wanted to, he was in love with her, but she doesn't know anything. So he wants her to be his girlfriend, right? So she's really afraid to ask her out or anything. So just looking and just dreaming and longing. So when he gets these wishes, his wish was, oh, may she be my girlfriend. So I'm talking about this was just making wishes with the devil, okay? So non-human intervention. So this beautiful lady, she was a witch or a non-human being or some kind of entity who granted this guy 7 wishes. So, okay, so she just do something, whips her wand or whatever, and she's suddenly, he's her girlfriend, his girlfriend. But even though she's his girlfriend, she's a drug addict, completely addicted. So he's like, oh, I don't want anybody like that as my girlfriend. Yes, she's beautiful and everything, but so then she calls the witch, said, I didn't want that. I don't want her to be, addicted to anything. I really want her to be, my wife. Okay, next time, like normal with no addictions. Okay, normal. Next time, no problem. Wife, but she is in love with somebody else, not with him. They're married, but not really interested with him. Something like that. Oh, again called the witch and said, no, look, she has to be so in love with me. We have to be so in love. This is what I want. Okay, you didn't tell that. Okay, next time. So they're so in love. Wife, everything all good, except she's dying with cancer. So something like this, I probably am making it up just to tell the gist of it. Watch the movie if you want to. So this is the thing, so very dangerous, making deals with non-human beings, but more importantly, all of your wishes, very dangerous. These days there's a very common idea going around like manifestations or something, like you can wish and you can manifest. Like even in the business world, people think there's a way of getting things, and people ask about this. There are some kind of social media things going around, but people think, do you really know what you need to be happy? Do you know what you want, because we think, oh, if I was like this, I'll be happy. If I could get this, I'll be happy. So we keep wanting and wishing things. But maybe you already have everything you need to be happy right now. But we forget to notice this, right? If you have some faith in the law of karma, and if you just look at your life, if you are a reasonably good person and things have been going well already, then why don't you trust your karma and think that, what I need to be happy is already here, karmically has arrived here. So maybe look at what you have and see how can you make the best use of what you have, rather than projecting and saying, may I have this, then I'll be happy. But we are not only projecting to ourselves, right? My daughter should have this and then she'll be happy. My mother should do this and then they'll be happy. And we try to wish for them as well and control, right? So this is the danger, because when we wish for things, we also don't see everything else that comes with it. Right? This was the essence of this story as well, You wish for one thing and you only think about that. You don't think about the other things. It's usually things come as a package. So we miss out and forget about what else might come together. So be careful about wishing for things. Be careful making deals with these kind of entities as well, because some people have that ability. It is kind of dangerous. Rather, work with what you have and grow from there. That is already more than good enough. Okay, thank you for allowing me.
Okay, great. No, that's good. This is marvelous. Excellent. Okay, let us go move on. Dear Ayya, this is for you. Special
okay, well, you take another one.
Take another one. All right. Okay. Dear Ajahn Brahmali, so this is the right one. So you mentioned Advaita Vedanta in passing during this retreat. Could you please explain the main difference between it and Buddhism? Is Advaita Vedanta a wrong view? Thank you so much. So Advaita Vedanta is kind of the pinnacle of meditation within Hinduism or Brahmanism. Advaita means non-duality, and Vedanta means like the end of the Vedas as part of the Vedic religion, part of the Hindu religion, but the meditation aspect of it. And because it means non-duality, it is about non-dual meditation. And that we also have in Buddhism. The main kind of non-dual meditation we have in the Dhamma is samadhi. Samadhi, the jhana specifically, the second jhana and onwards. That is our Advaita. It is called, in the Suttas, it's called ekodi bhuta. Ekodi bhuta means having become one, one thing. Non-duality means that there is no object-subject duality. Usually with our experience, we have a feeling that I'm here, I am the experiencer, and then there's the objects or the things that come into the senses on the outside. But Advaita, you take away that. There's only one experience, bliss. You become that bliss, so to speak. There's no differentiation between the subject and the bliss. It's only one thing. And so Advaita Vedanta has that as its purpose, is the achieving of this non-dual samadhi. And then, of course, the idea is that then when you die, that's what you become afterwards. This is what kind of unity with Brahma is all about, and the unity with the cosmos, the kind of underlying consciousness of the world. This is what this is referring to. And this is what the Buddha was kind of criticizing. He was saying actually that there is no such thing here. There is the experience, but it doesn't mean that it leads to an eternal life that is of the same quality after you pass away. That this is kind of what he is talking about. And you find this very interesting. It's discussed in the Suttas. One of the places where this is discussed is the Brahmajala Sutta, Brahma's net, where he talks about 62 different kinds of views that the Buddha says you have to go beyond. So from a Buddhist point of view, Advaita Vedanta, it's on the right track in terms of meditation, but it's not an end point. It is not the final thing. You have to go beyond that as well and let go of it and see the impermanence even of those particular states and those qualities of consciousness. So, something like that. Okay.
Dear Ayya, may I know how long were you sitting before you had the experience of seeing light? 1 hour, 1.5 hours into sitting? Well, during this, my very first retreat as a lay person, I used to sit quite a few hours. So, but the light did come, I don't know, I never watched. The time is very strange when you're meditating, so I'm not really sure how long. But I did sit because I was really enjoying, I don't know, because I had no expectation, have never meditated before, just having a good time. I went to this retreat thinking, Ajahn Brahm seems like a kind person, he's not going to punish me if I can't meditate or do anything. I'm just going to go eat and sleep and have a nice time. This was the attitude with which I went, and I just listened to whatever he said. I knew nothing much about anything. So that's probably why I had a good time. But I did sit, so I'm not really sure, but not probably very quickly. I never kept time. But once you get used to it, then the light can come quite fast also. Depends how peaceful you become, how fast you become peaceful. Okay, dear Ajahn, please kindly consider to have this form of retreat every year together with Ayya. This is for you. Together with Ayya. So they're calling until the Sri Lankan project is complete. Well, it will be not complete until we die, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Monastery projects are forever ongoing. So we are so inspired now. What? Gain enlightenment and letting go of sensual stuffs. But we need to have at least a yearly recharge. Dear Ayya, for the 3rd time, can we have this retreat again every year? Okay, so Dutiyampi and Tatiyampi.
That's good. Okay, great. Yeah, okay. What to say? Well, yeah, we will see what happens, I suppose. Yeah. Okay. It's good. It's nice that people enjoyed it. That's marvelous. So, but as I said, the future is uncertain, so we'll see.
What if one of us die?
Yeah, well, then the other one has to carry on. Yeah, that would be. Okay, so let us continue. There's still lots of questions here. We can't go too slowly.
I never gave a promise. You did, so you can stay up all night.
No, this always works out nicely. I know from past experience. Anyway, dear Ajahn Brahmali, this is good. My apologies first if this is too much to ask. I should maybe stop at that point. No. No, let's see. During the Sutta retreat, I learned about crossing over perplexity, crossing the flood, being unshakable seclusion, etc. Pending the last Sutta session tomorrow, could you please, number one, two, summarize one take-home message of each of those 16 Brahmins? 8 for you and 8 from Ayya, maybe. No, I think that's impossible, because I think the verses are too kind of integrated with each other. I don't know if there is 16 different take-home messages. I think to make it easy for ourselves, we'll give you one general take-home message, because I think we're too lazy to do one for each one. Let's see what happens tomorrow, but I'll keep it in mind. So let's see what happens. Number 2, this is number 2, okay, so coming now, okay. Overall take-home message of Q&A between 16 Brahmins and the Buddha. Number 3, how do I carry that message to my daily life after this retreat? Okay, good, I'm glad you're very optimistic about what we are going to do tomorrow. But anyway, we'll see what happens. Once again, thank you for having me on this retreat. It has been awesome, and thank you to everyone. So this is one of our regular retreat goers. So the name is on the bottom. I don't usually read out the names. I'm sure that's That is okay. Okay, good. I'm glad you are giving us some homework, and we will kind of sort this out maybe tomorrow. Let's see what happens. Okay, I've answered.
There was no question. You are going to answer tomorrow.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Are you saying I should do another one? Yeah? Okay then. All right, dear Ajahns. Number one. Okay, no, number... If experience is shaped by perception, how can we tell when perception is shaped by wisdom and when it is shaped by delusion? This is very good. Yeah, this is very good question. And does Buddhism say that all ordinary experience is conditioned, or can there be some kind of unconditioned experience? So that's already a lot. Yeah? So, and then there's much more coming afterwards. This is going to be a long one. So, how do you know if your perception is shaped by wisdom or shaped by delusion? The answer is you cannot always know. But you can know that at times your perception or your mental state is shaped by delusion. You can know that because sometimes you can feel it. Sometimes you feel confused. Sometimes you know that you're angry. If you're angry, guaranteed it is coming from delusion. Sometimes you have some kind of crazy desires, like eating in the afternoon. No. Sorry, I'm messing around. It's not a crazy desire, but and this is also, some of that is not necessarily coming from a need for food. Sometimes it can be real hunger. Sometimes you just want to do something like eat, and then that is a kind of delusion as well. So you know from the kind of mind state that you have whether it's coming from delusion or wisdom. At other times you may feel peaceful and you may feel that the mind is moving in that direction in a positive way, and then you know there's some degree of underlying wisdom there that enables that to happen. But there's also going to be some delusion there. Until you are enlightened, there's going to be some degree of delusion underlying every experience. There's some degree of taking it to be a self or taking it to be mine or something like that. So it's a relative delusion and relative wisdom. Your job is to reduce the delusion and increase the wisdom, not trying to have absolute wisdom with no delusion, because that will take time before that happens. So move in the right direction. Contemplate the teachings of the Buddha, impermanence, unreliability. Build up the joy and happiness by living a good life. As you are doing that, you are leaning towards wisdom and away from delusion. That's the best you can do. All ordinary experience is conditioned. That is correct. All ordinary experience is conditioned. Is there any kind of unconditioned experience? No. All experiences are conditioned. Ordinary, extraordinary, or whatever, they're all conditioned, regardless of what they are. Experience, by its very nature, is conditioned. It is conditioned by the contact that you have beforehand, and by the, how the six senses interact with the world, so to speak. So all experiences are conditioned. There's only one unconditioned thing, and that is Nibbana. Nibbana is not an experience. Nibbana is the ending of something, and that's why it is not conditioned. It arises by practicing the path, but Nibbana itself is not supported by conditions. Number 2, if dependent origination can be weakened in the present moment. Would you like to add something to what I was talking about?
No.
Or? No? Okay, all right. If dependent origination can be weakened in the present moment, for example, when feeling is known without craving, why is it so often explained mainly across lifetimes? And beyond mindfulness at feeling, what most helps weaken it in practice? It is explained across lifetimes because the problem is rebirth. The problem is that if you carry on living, if you carry on being reborn, you will experience suffering. It is not too hard to understand. There are some very graphic suttas where they talk about the samsaric existence with being reborn, getting old again, dying, and how that kind of goes on and on and on. And you can just imagine for yourself, how many more times would you like to be living in the way you have been living in this life? I don't know what kind of life you've had, but I often think about my own life. I had a pretty good life. I can't really complain all that much. I had a nice family, got a good education, everything was pretty good. But would I want to do it again? Absolutely not. There's still plenty of enough suffering there. I did absolutely not want to do everything again, especially not 1,000 times or 1,000,000 times again. This is what samsara really is about. It's about this redoing of things again and again. That suffering really comes out properly when you understand the problem of rebirth. And that's why dependent origination focuses on that. There is a nice sutta somewhere where the Venerable Sariputta is asked the question, what is happiness? What is suffering? And the answer is, rebirth is suffering, non-rebirth is happiness. And that's why dependent origination focuses on this. It's profound. It depends on, on the understanding or the acceptance of rebirth. It depends on that. If you don't believe in rebirth, you can see there is an issue here. And I would argue, if you don't believe in rebirth, if you reject it entirely, then you are not really taking refuge in the Buddha. You're not really a Buddhist. Okay, if you're on the fence, fair enough. But if you reject it out of hand, then you cannot, that's wrong view. So you're not really a Buddhist at that point. So the weakening by feeling, by knowing, craving. Beyond mindfulness of feeling, what is most helping to weaken it in practice? Well, the point is that we have to understand how the path works. So the path works by deepening your meditation. That is the most important thing, going deeper and deeper in meditation. So to be able to do that, you have to have a relatively pure mind. And so the purpose of understanding the connection between feeling and craving is to weaken your defilements. So you don't have strong defilements which then hinder your meditation practice. Right? That is the main point. So in daily life, as you are, interacting with people and interacting with everything, you want to ensure that you don't react in bad ways to what is happening around you. You will meet people who are difficult. You will come across situations that are disappointing and difficult and painful and hurtful and all of these kind of things. That is part of life. But you have to learn to react to all of these aspects of life in a way that does not give rise to defilements, not getting angry, not getting irritated, not having excessive desires, etc. Having a degree of clarity, standing back, observing what is going on, responding rather than reacting. This is something I learned from Venerable Karunika. It's a beautiful way of thinking about it. Respond to situations, don't react to them. Reacting is this automatic thing we do. Responding means standing back, observing, being careful, being circumspect, then giving a response. And so this is the purpose of this, right? The purpose of this whole practice is to learn to respond in the right way. Then this is what allows the meditation to deepen. As the meditation gets deeper and deeper through this way of responding, then you can give rise to insight after samadhi, and that is where craving comes to an end completely. So what we are doing is practicing the Noble Eightfold Path overall. That is the overall structure of what you should be doing. Practice that path. Be kind, be gentle, be caring, be generous. Don't allow yourself to be angry. Try to see if you can reduce the anger in life. Reduce excessive desires, silly desires that are only destructive. Gradually build up your mindfulness in this way. Then do some meditation practice. Understand right view. Listen, get into what the Dhamma really is about. Right view is a powerful support for all of this. Right view is the foundation for everything. From right view emerges all of these other things. So this is how to think about it. I hope, not sure if that made any sense, but anyway, that's how I see it. Would you like to add anything? No? You're happy? Yeah. So we're still on the same question. So now number 3, in Samyutta Nikaya 1.1. This was your. Maybe you would like to answer that one.
Read it.
Should I read? Okay. All right then. All right then. This was the sutta that Venerable Karunika mentioned about you.
Ogatarana Sutta.
Ogatarana Sutta, the crossing of the stream, the crossing of the flood. And the idea that if you stop, you sink, and if you strive, then you get swept away. Yeah, that one. The Buddha says he crossed the flood without pushing forward and without staying in place. In meditation, how should we understand right effort in light of this? So the idea here is that standing still means that you, I don't know, falling asleep maybe or something like that. Yeah, you kind of zone out. You forget to make progress. You forget to allow the meditation to develop. That's kind of standing still. You should not. The meditation should be allowed to develop. That's kind of the point here. The striving means you are trying to make the meditation fall into place. I am going to meditate. I am in charge. The ego, the sense of self, runs the meditation. Yeah, so either way is bad. Yeah? One is not doing what you should be doing. The other one is using the sense of ego. So what you want to do is you want to bring the Dhamma to be in charge. So you sit down, you ask, what are the instructions? The instructions are to just relax and to be mindful. Yeah, and allow things to calm down. And so you follow the instructions, you follow the Dhamma, then you don't stand still, nor do you use the ego in your practice. This is the ideal. That ideal is very hard to attain, because in reality the ego will be there to some extent, but it kind of gives you a guidance on roughly how to think about this. How can effort be present without becoming striving? Effort is the natural effort that comes from the Dhamma. It's like something whispering at the back of your mind. It's like the Buddha is there watching over you and say, okay, now, watch the breath. Yeah, watch the breath. Something is telling you at the back of your mind. Not the ego, not the sense of self, but the Dhamma is there. Don't be angry. Yeah, these people are suffering. Remember they are suffering. Have compassion for them instead. Okay, don't be angry. So you're not angry. That desire you're having now, it's a silly desire. Something in the back of your mind will tell you, you will know it is a silly desire. This is the wrong time and the wrong place for that. Most desires are silly. And so you ask, what would the Buddha say in this situation? What would Ajahn Brahmali say? What do the Suttas say? And then you follow that, this inner voice deep within that knows enough Dhamma already to know what is right and what is wrong. To improve that, and just gradually get more right view by understanding the suttas. Or is striving bad altogether? It is bad when it comes from the sense of self. It is good when it comes from the right view. Thank you sincerely for your guidance, patience and kindness. I feel very grateful. Thank you. Okay, that was a major exercise, major striving on my part. So that's good.
I have something small to add for the right effort during meditation. So also it is all the things I'm just emphasizing because it's so important. Because I used to argue, I'm embarrassed to say this, I used to argue with Ajahn Brahm. Because he says, oh, let go, relax, chillax. And then I used to go and ask Ajahn Brahm, where did the Buddha say that? I said, Chandan janeti vayamati viryang arabati chittam pagganhati padhati. If anybody knows Pali, or if it sounds really strong, this is right effort, right? You arouse your desire, you make up your mind, you prepare yourself, arouse energy, these kind of words. You strive. So it sounds really, and this is where it's always there, right effort. So, and then where did the Buddha say, chillax, relax? Nowhere. So, but then he would look at me, he would not say anything, but you specially have to relax. You specially. That I got really annoyed. Then I get even more annoyed. Not taking anything of what I say, not giving me any sutta reference for where the Buddha said chillax, not really saying no, that is, however, just say you have to relax, so what to do? So then, after a long time, I came to realize what that was about. So the thing is, that effort that we talk about, that is mostly up until coming to the meditation cushion. because we need quite a lot of work to do beforehand. So that is why I meant living your life in the right way requires quite a lot of effort. So that is where that Chandan Janeti Vayavati, all of that whole sequence, if you want to read it in right effort in English, I don't remember all the English translation words, but anyway, all that striving, all of that is for that part, which is hard enough, right? Once you have done that right effort, then when you're in the cushion, the effort is just to relax, just to remember to just be with the breath or with your object, just to gently nudge the mind if it just goes here and there, just to remind, very gentle kind of effort, and that's all, not that kind of big anything, just an effort to stop anything. So it is not a very strong stopping and trying to freeze yourself and thoughts, but a very gentle kind of way of stopping rather than doing. And also, effort can be before sitting, building up inspiration for your meditation object, why you should meditate. So really nice kind of way of inspiring yourself. Not overly, because if you overly inspire yourself, then you want to get enlightened in that very sit, and then you will be striving like anything, and that will not get you anywhere. But the right kind, like inspiration coming with right view, just to get you to sit, just to stay there. That is also where you put in the right effort. Okay.
Okay, good. What about when the Buddha says, let my blood dry up and my bones turn to dust. I will not get up from the sitting before I'm enlightened.
Right. That's when you are ready, yeah? When you are at that kind of level, when you, I suppose. So did the Buddha actually say that?
Yeah, I found a couple of places.
I know, I see it, but is it authentic?
Is it authentic? Yeah. It's a good question. Yeah, probably is. I think it doesn't necessarily mean striving very hard. I think it just means that you are determined, and you're going to sit there, and you may still have the right kind of.
Ajahn Brahmali tried that, didn't he, when he was about 18 or 20?
Before he
lasted half an hour, 40 minutes. My turn?
Yes, your turn.
Oh, dear Ayya, I saw the book Flowing to Freedom at the JG bookshop today. Can you tell us more about the book, and if there is a chapter in this book that you felt especially inspiring? Thanks for putting this book together for our benefit. It's Ajahn Brahmali's book. Did you see who the author was? The book is also put here by this person, I suppose. So that's the book. Flowing to Freedom. A joyous ride to awakening. A joyous ride. Nice, isn't it? A joyous ride. So it's true, it's Ajahn Brahmali's book. The reason why I put it together, because I've been listening to Ajahns talks for so many years and was wishing, because sometimes you hear a nice talk and there are some nice bits, then you forget about it, but when you want to go back to it, it's really hard. You have to listen to the whole talk again, and sometimes you fall asleep by the time you get to the important bit because you're tired or something. So I thought, if it was in a book, then I can look back. What did he say? Oh, this is inspiring, So I've been always wanting a book, waiting, and he or nobody is writing. Finally, I decided, well, I will have to put it together. So that's the only way it's going to happen. But the part that was most inspiring for me is in this image. That's a hull. Yeah, just an empty hull. So in one of the talks, Ajahn was telling how we are like an empty hull, without a rudder, without any sails, without any mechanism of sailing, and we are only being carried away by the currents in the ocean, or so therefore, and currents in the ocean, or most importantly, if there is like a bigger ship or another boat going, the movement of that creates some currents. So the slipstream, that's the word you used, you use that, and if you use that skillfully, then you can get that bigger boat to carry you through. You have nothing to do, you just chillax. So I got the point. Actually, I did profusely apologize to Ajahn Brahm later, finally, when I got the point. And so recite tracking. Also that viveka nisitang, that became my biggest teaching now. If one teaching I'm giving, that's the one teaching I'm giving, is about relaxing, about seclusion and chillaxing, because I realize that's what most people need more than anything. So in here, it's like you can chillax, you can relax. The bigger boat in front of you will carry you forward. And what is this bigger boat? The Dhamma, the Buddha, or all the teachers. Yeah. So they do the conditioning. You just chillax, relax, sit back, and being carried. So I really liked that idea because it was going against my very wanting to strive like mad. I mean, I was a scientist, so you can sort of understand, to be, what kind of you want to do things, achieve goals, and follow protocols. So that's what I was trying to do, and most people are like that. But this idea of being, being carried, loving the Dhamma. So the only thing that is important is you catch the right kind of current. Because if you catch the wrong kind of current, that is dangerous as well. So it is important that you do find. So if you go to the early teachings of the Buddha, that's no problem. But when we start to use teachers, then we have to be a little bit careful. But either way, that was the part that I really, really enjoyed and what inspired me to put the book together. However, if you want to get to know Ajahn Brahmali a little bit more, there are some of his personal stories as well here. Sometimes you hear, but you don't hear them very much. But I managed to catch the few places. So you can see how he felt when his father passed away, when his sister passed away, the things he likes to eat. Not just the salmon, there are other things. Little stories from his family, even
then,
about your mom.
That was then, you can't trust that, That was then.
That was then, I know.
Yeah, things changed.
I know. So, but anyway, there are stories about your mom also here. Very inspiring little things, but they are personal. The other thing that was very nice, something that you already know about Ajahn Brahmali, is he can bring in really profound teachings and present it in a very practicable and immediately applicable for our life kind of way, like, to us here. So that is also coming out quite nicely with examples and way of applying. Another thing that is there that hopefully would come out as a book was during 2020 there was this dependent origination, even brought out dependent origination, which is the most profound teaching, into a very practical way. Some of that is captured here because I used some of that to here as well. So this, and the other thing is they're very short little things. So you can just flip into any page and you can also get. But methodically reading, you will also start from where you are and end at full enlightenment. So the whole joyous way of reaching is given, including even the crossing the shore is here. Yeah, so anyway, that's a little bit about this book if you are interested. So yeah, that's all. Took a lot of time.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
Got carried away.
Yeah, no, that's good. Dear Ajahns, there is a Buddhist perception belief that a dead body should be left untouched for 7 to 8 hours to avoid bad karma to the dead person. Is this perception worth believing and following? If that is the case, then what happens to those people who wish to donate their organs right after their death? Thank you, Ajahns. I don't think bad karma to the dead person, because the dead person isn't doing anything, so there won't be bad karma. But maybe the point is that if they have recently died, then they can still, the consciousness can maybe still be there to some extent. And so you have to be maybe a little bit careful. But I would say if they are dead, there is normally no problem. It means the consciousness has already moved on. And there shouldn't be any issues. There's nothing in the Suttas about this. And so I think that donating your organs is perfectly okay as soon as you are proclaimed dead. It's a little bit difficult because the way people are proclaimed dead these days, it's kind of brain dead and heart dead and these kind of various ways. It complicates things a little bit, but I think generally speaking, it's not going to be a problem. In one way, the idea of donating organs is a very beautiful thing. Can imagine that you are dying and you are on the way to a new life, and this is like your last gift to the world. Yeah, okay, I'm dead. Please take my body. And you can see using your body to help sustain someone else. It's a wonderful thing. So I think in a sense, it's a kind of beautiful way to end your life by giving your body to someone else. And you may still be present. You may be able to see that happening and rejoice in it as a consequence. But yes, there are some issues there which are depending on how death is defined. And whether consciousness has properly departed the body, etc., which is a little bit hard to disentangle. But there is nothing about 7 to 8 hours to avoid bad karma. That's absolutely sure. Okay.
Ajahn, there is something.
Is there? Okay.
Yes, Ajahn Brahm says this. You are the Vinaya master, so you should know the story. The Buddhist zombie story.
Oh, that's the one I tell all the time.
It's a little bit related.
Yeah, okay.
It's funny.
It's funny.
Do you want to tell the zombie story?
The people want to hear the zombie story. But most people have probably heard it before already, because it's kind of a...
Who has heard the zombie story? Only a few people.
Only a few, okay. Yeah. Well, if you say who hasn't heard it, you get the same number of only a few people lifting their hands. Most people are too. Don't. Anyway, I'll tell you the zombie stories. The zombie story is a story that I can't remember at what time I tell it during the retreat. I usually tell it because it's in the Vinaya. And most of the stories we talk about are from the Suttas. This is from the Vinaya. And Vinaya is kind of my area of expertise, because that's what I have translated. And in the zombie story, I usually tell it in connection with the monks using rag robes. I don't know if you noticed that, but some of the monks have rag robes. I used to have a rag robe when I was a young monk. I looked like this kind of walking Christmas tree. Rags of various colors, and it was good fun, because I would travel around the world. I go back to Europe and visit my parents and these kind of things, and I was looking like this kind of beggar with these rags around me, walking through Changi Airport in Singapore, and I kind of enjoyed that. I thought that was really cool to do that. But anyway, the point is that this idea of rag robes goes back to the time of the Buddha. It's the simplest kind of robes that ideally you have as a forest-dwelling monk. But what it means is that if you're going to have rag robes, you have to be always on the outlook for rags. Because the rag robe always falls apart. There's always kind of new patches required. So you're always on the outlook for rags. And so you wander around, you pick up a rag here, you pick up a rag there. Now, there's one story in the Vinaya about this monk who thought he had found the best way to find rags, and that is to go to the charnel ground. And the charnel ground is where you burn the corpses, and usually, for the sake of modesty, they would wrap the corpse in a cloth. So kind of it's a bit more modest than just having naked corpse there. And the monk thought, well, great, they wrapped the corpse in cloth. That corpse doesn't need the cloth, I can take that cloth. And so he goes to this corpse and he starts kind of unwrapping the cloth. And as he's unwrapping the cloth, the corpse says, "Don't take my cloth." And this monk says, "Shut up, you're dead. You have no vote. You don't need this cloth anymore. Be quiet." And so he just takes the cloth, and then he takes the cloth and he starts walking. And when he starts walking, the corpse rises up. It starts coming behind him. And he looks over his shoulder. I'm not looking at you, Metta. He looks over his shoulder and the corpse comes behind and he starts running, with his cloth under his arm, and gets to his kuti and kind of slams his door shut. And just as he slams the door shut, the corpse comes and falls down just outside the kuti. And that's the story, the zombie story. And what is interesting about these stories is that they lead to a rule. And one of the rules, because all of these stories are like background stories, And the rule is that you should not take the cloth if the corpse is still warm. Yeah, so you should wait till the corpse is cold, then you can take the cloth off the corpse. That's kind of one. That's why we have so many rules. Yeah, now you know why we have such a large number of rules. And so, what is kind of fascinating about this ancient literature, because this obviously goes back 2,500 times, 2,500 years. And what is so fascinating about so many things that we cannot take for granted in contemporary culture, and so many of the things that we think are modern phenomena, yeah, they have always been there. They have always existed. And so many of the things that you see in contemporary literature, go to the Suttas, and they were there first. Yeah, they were part of that culture in those ancient times. Like zombies, for example, yeah, and many other things as well. And so that's kind of one of it opens your eyes to the kind of conceit that we often have about modern culture being advanced or being kind of different somehow. Actually, it isn't really all that different. People were basically the same. Yeah, and we need to get out of this kind of modern bias whereby we put modern ideas first. This is one reason why people often reject rebirth, because we think that our modern culture is more advanced, so we understand these matters much better. But that's just conceit. Yeah, we don't understand these things better. Often we understand them much worse. And so once we put that to one side, and you don't have this conceit that we are more advanced, this bias that modern culture is to be preferred, it becomes much easier to accept things like rebirth and some of the ideas of these ancient cultures. This is actually a well-known kind of bias. You have probably heard about all these kind of biases that psychologists talk about. Yeah, how we are, how we have all kind of psychological distortions that give rise to biases. Well, this is one of those biases, and apparently it's well known how we tend to prefer kind of the modern compared to the ancient, what we have now compared to what was before, as if we are always getting more advanced or always moving forward or whatever. Anyway, enough.
Dear Ajahn, my friend and I have realized that we have been in a false sense of security. We have been, I don't know whatever the word, sense of security due to living a comfortable life. This retreat has made it clear that the gratification we get from all the pretty things is dangerous, deluding, and a waste of time. Great. So we have made a plan. I don't know. I don't think it is that word. We are going to hold each other accountable whenever we feel the pull of wanting to buy something. We will text each other. Hopefully this will help us to break this habit over the coming months or years. By the next retreat, we hope to be a wise higher up the hill than we have today. That's the hill that the King Jaya, Princess Jayasena was climbing. Yeah. Thank you for your encouragement and inspiration. Great, that's wonderful.
Yay.
Marvelous.
Excellent. Carry on.
Dear Ajahn and Ayya, all these years I wonder I have been abusing Metta meditation. I deliberately pick someone or situation that I dislike in life to practice Metta during sitting and off time, even face to face, achieve my goal, i.e. to reduce stress, better relationship. It always works sooner or later. Can I continue this practice? Thank you very much. With metta.
That means she doesn't like you, is that right? No.
Yeah, so the thing is, if it is, because the things that you are saying is it reduces stress. So if your stress is reduced, and if it leads to better relationship, then even you have ulterior motivation, it's okay. In the sense, there's something good there, but of course it's not completely pure. So of course, if you want to develop the very pure forms of meditation, that's great. But as I was mentioning, the whole purpose of metta meditation in the Buddha's dispensation is healing our own defilements. So that seems to be what is happening. So even though you think, or you may be coming from or motivated from something, still it seems to be reducing your stress and improving your relationship, which means your own heart is getting a bit more purified. So maybe it's not all that bad. But later, maybe instead of getting into one person, it is much better that you do it more universally and it gets more pure. So, but you didn't say that you are trying to sort of heal the person or change the person, because some people do metta meditation thinking by sending metta you're going to change them into a different person. So that's the really wrong way of practicing, right? Because it doesn't really necessarily happen like that. Who are we? Even the Buddha, if it was the case, Buddha would change all of us scallywags, right, and made us into being better people by his power of meditation. So this is not, but I do know of people who try to do this to change the person. That's not the idea. The person remains, but you change your attitude towards them. So that space in between is getting purified through metta. So that's the right way to understand it. Okay, you have to say something?
Okay, that's good, yeah. Okay. Wow, there's still so many questions. Okay, well now I'm going to go faster, see what happens. Dear Ajahn, thank you very much for your inspiring teachings. I have been applying the body scan meditation following Ajahn Brahm's method for several years now. It is very pleasant and helps my mind to be peaceful. Great. I could do this for 20-30 minutes, but when I transition to breath meditation after the first 20 minutes, I fall asleep within 5 minutes. As such, I have been stuck with body scan meditation without being able to continue with breath meditation. Please advise. So go to the metta, do some metta meditation instead. May I be happy, may all beings be happy, may my enemies be happy. Do some metta meditation because it is more active and then you're less likely to fall asleep. You need to purify your mindfulness a bit more, reduce other kind of defilements a bit. Sometimes in daily life it can be very hard because you are busy, the mind gets tired. It can be very hard to do breath meditation. So do something else. Play a guided meditation as well while you do this. When you hear some instructions, it's easy to stay awake and easy to get into the right mood. The mood is often the most difficult thing, especially when you are very busy. The mind is not in the right place to enjoy meditation. And so it's good to have like someone's voice, like Ajahn Brahm or whatever, that kind of brings you into the right psychological frame. And then meditation often works better. So something like that.
I would like to add something. So one thing, if you are really wanting to transition and if you're serious about it, try meditating at a time when you're not so tired, not like at the end of the day when you are already time to sleep, but try out at a time when you're more awake. Yeah, so when you are naturally have enough good energy, and then when your mind is peaceful at a previous time, so not now, so right now after you do your body meditation, if your mind is really peaceful, you make a determination, you tell your mind really clearly, when I transition to breath meditation, I will stay alert. Yeah, you can do it 3 times. It is kind of like brainwashing. And even before you sit for that sit, also you can do that. If you are fairly peaceful when you sit, you can say that when I transition, I will stay alert. I will stay alert. And also make it that it is enjoyable, because it is enjoyable to experience, because when you fall asleep, you miss out on everything, right? So, and it's a waste of time. But if you stay alert, you enjoy the whole process of stilling. So that kind of brainwashing or as a way of determination is kind of very helpful to overcome some of these repeated issues. Okay. Dear Ajahns, yesterday at Dhammaloka, Ajahn Brahm shared the story of 4 priests who have to confess to one another with much hesitation. Priest 1, I am a gambler. I use the donations money, hope to win more but lost all. Second priest says, I am an alcoholic. Third one says, in the same way they have been using the donation money. Third priest says, embarrassed, I have an affair with a female patron. And then the fourth one says, very reluctantly to share. Finally, he said, I am somebody who does gossip. A wise and funny story that Ajahn Brahm used on the dangers of gossip is worse than what the first 3 priests have done. Do you agree with that? Gossip is worse than adultery and gambling and alcohol?
Do I agree with that? Probably, I would say, I guess it depends on the kind of gossip. I guess it depends on all kind of factors. But generally, no, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It depends, right, which kind of gossip, because some of these are pretty heavy for a priest. Some of them won't be priests if they were Buddhist ones. Yeah. Even, so they are pretty heavy compared to gossip. Did Buddha taught anything relating to gossip, or how he deal with someone who come to him about a gossip? Well, that's in the Noble Eightfold Path, right speech and wrong speech. So gossip is wrong speech. So, anything more to say?
Yeah, I think the gossip is usually sampapalapa, frivolous talk. Actually, gossip is worse than frivolous talk. Frivolous talk just means non-useful talk, random talk, whereas gossip often means
divisive speech.
Often includes divisive speech. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It is in the right and wrong speech. There are 32 kinds of wrong speech and 10 kind of right speeches given in the Suttas. You can read it up.
Okay. So, dear Ajahn Brahmali Ayya Karunika, during one of the Sutta discussions, the topic of gratitude was discussed. A thought came to my mind about gratitude for oneself for past wholesome actions. At about this time, Ayya asked us to give ourselves a pat on the back. Did she read my mind? Okay, I'm not. She doesn't have to answer that because it would be might not be appropriate. So anyway, this was one of those wow moments for me. One of the many throughout this retreat. You never know who you are in the presence of. That's exactly right. So this verse then came to my mind. Sadly, not from the Suttas, from the sound of music. Nothing comes from nothing. Nothing ever could. So somewhere in my youth or childhood, I must have done something good. That's not too bad. So replace third line. So somewhere in my many past lives, exactly. Good. So with a heart overflowing gratitude to the Ajahns, may you be happy. That's great. I'm very happy, glad even. I don't think we need to say much more, but giving yourself a pat on the back is a beautiful way, having some compassion for yourself and some kindness for yourself. and seeing the good qualities in yourself is obviously really important. So, great, thank you. Your turn.
No, it's not a question.
Dear Ajahn, so when might we have a Metta Sutta 9-day retreat? Would it be a good idea? Absolutely, it's a really good idea, but whether it will happen is another matter. So, I did actually a whole series of talks on the Metta Sutta during the Rains retreat at Bodhinyana a couple of years ago. So that can absolutely be done. It's a very rich and interesting sutta. So we will consider that, put it to one side.
I've done 1 hour per word Metta Sutta.
You want 1 hour per word? Then we have to have like
3 month retreat.
3 month retreat or something. Yeah.
Okay. This is yours.
Is it mine? Okay.
Dear Venerables, please explain how to do walking meditation using walking stick. There would be no difference whether you have a walking stick or not. You would do similarly. There are many ways to do it depending on what you want to achieve. If you are really restless, like really, this is not the normal way of doing walking meditation. Normal way of doing walking meditation is just really walking at a very normal pace, neither too fast nor too slow, and you have just gaze about 1 meter or so ahead of you so you don't stumble onto anything, so you don't have your eyes closed, so it's open, and you make a clear determination when you stand there to just do that walking, and just be aware of the movement. And know, just like the breath, in breath and out breath, which foot is in front and the next one coming. So you just stay with that very physical movement and use that as a way of settling. So even if you have a walking stick, you can still integrate that into that movement. However, there is an elephant walking meditation. Do you want to know? Elephant walk. This is if you're really, really restless and if you want to calm down, then you can just walk slowly like an elephant. In the sense, here this is not the usual way, so you just have 2 things that you need to do that time. One is you have to see the body movement, like the weight moving, because before you lift 1 foot up, all of your body weight has to go to the other foot, right? And you're very slowly doing it, because if somebody says freeze, you should be able to freeze even with 1 foot up like that, right? So you're really aware of this movement of your weight, so you don't stumble upon. So that's one thing to be aware of. The second thing is you're also then, when you put your foot down, you are also very aware of all the sensations of your feet. So there's 2 things to do, because you're very restless, because otherwise it's only one thing. Sometimes you're walking up and down and you're far away. Only seen to be doing walking meditation, but you are thinking. Because this is also very common. So some people use walking up and down to think and solve problems. So it's dangerous. Then what you do is you change the way that you hold your hand. If you're walking with your hands behind when you start to think about problems, then you're doing walking meditation, you keep it here so that your mind sort of gets a different thing. But when you do this, then you have 2 things to do. So you have to watch the movement, and you're walking like this elephant very slowly. So that will help you to sort of settle down for a little while. So this is not your regular, but I find it quite nice, especially on these walking paths. It's quite nice. It's nice texture and things like that. But also, if you're very restless, it's nice to find a different texture, like grass or sand or gravel. So you have more sensations to be aware of. So, but with the walking stick or not, it's the similar kind of thing. So you can integrate walking sticks as well. Anyway, that's all I would say.
Okay. All right. Dear Ajahn Brahmali, in your last guided meditation on Metta, you started by mentioning the spiritual qualities like gratitude. Is this preparatory to get our minds ready for Metta meditation? Yes. The point is that Metta meditation is something that you can do more easily towards someone who you see as a friend, as someone you see the good qualities in. Yeah, it's very hard to do metta meditation towards an enemy and to give rise to really good feelings. I know someone here today was doing that, which is fine, but it's hard to give rise to really positive feelings if you use someone who you find difficult or whatever. And so by giving rise to the idea of the good qualities in people, you are actually encouraging make it more easier to then do the metta afterwards. May all beings be happy. If you have a sense that all beings have good qualities, whoever they may be, it's easier. So that's kind of the point there. So how you said to keep the mantra simple, just keep saying, may all beings be happy and well, or whatever. So in this regard, we don't need to radiate out to different directions, etc. Just keep repeating it, and then at some point go into the breath. You can do these things in all kind of ways. Sometimes it can be fun to do it in the different directions, and you can imagine different kind of beings in the different directions. All the beings in the west, and then you can go to the north. You can think of animals, you can think of maybe monastics, you can think of your fellow Buddhists, you can think maybe of the devas even. So you can kind of, as you go around the different directions, you can try different ways of doing metta. And sometimes you will find that there are some ways that are more powerful than others, that work better for you. This is a more active way of doing it. Or a very common way of doing it is there's also the method of the Visuddhimagga, where you start with yourself. May I be happy and well. This is kind of the standard Theravadan way of doing it. And then after doing it for yourself, and you give rise to a good feeling, then you go to the friendly person, then you go to the neutral person, and then you go to the person you don't like, at the very end. So this is another way. Or just may all beings be happy. There isn't any particular formula given in the suttas, so it is a little bit up to ourselves. Actually, the formula in the suttas is to spread it to the 4 directions. But it's already a very high level of development that is mentioned there. So you can carry on with metta, and if it works for you, it can give rise to very powerful feelings. It can give rise to even like nimittas, like the bright lights in the mind, and you can then move directly onto that without even going via the breath. You don't necessarily have to go to the breath. Or if you can also use the metta to give you a nice kind of base quality, positive quality in the mind, that makes it easier to follow the breath. So that's another way of doing this. So metta to kind of stabilize the mind, and then moving on to the breath later on. I find this approach very doable. Great. So if it's doable, then please do that. I tried it today, but couldn't link the first part about the spiritual qualities. Please advise. Thank you once again for your wonderful and inspiring teachings. Okay, great. Would you like to add anything, Venerable? No? Okay.
Was there a part in the end that you didn't answer?
No, I answered everything, I think.
Dear Ajahn, this question may be a little silly. My apologies. Is there such a thing as doing too many retreats? Is there such a thing as a sutta junkie? To everyone here, many, many thanks. Thank you for this wonderful retreat. My answer would be, is there such thing as doing too many retreats? Absolutely not. When I was a layperson from that first retreat onwards, because I enjoyed it so much, I did every retreat that was available. Because those days it was easy. It wasn't like the system, all these complicated things. All you had to do was go and line up at Dhammaloka. So I come out of work early and first one. Make sure I enter everywhere. And if it wasn't, because there was only 2 retreats, then Nolia is here, so she knows they used to organize Perth Insight Meditation group retreats. So then I had additional retreats to go. So whatever was available. So it's great if you can afford the time. And whether is there a sutta junkie, that's a great thing to be. I used to call myself a retreat junkie and a sutta junkie. It's great to have sutta, like if you enjoy. There is a term called Dhamma pamoja, right? Dhamma pamoja? Dhamma?
Yeah.
Yeah, somehow when you recollect the suttas and your mind gets really elevated, and then you have pamoja, the gladness of mind, and it's an entry point into meditation. So, liking the suttas, understanding and practicing and rejoicing is great. That's my answer anyway, because I'm a sutta junkie, so if you want a different answer, to ask somebody else.
Not me.
Not you. You are a sutta junkie.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's why no need to ask me. You get the same answer.
Same answer.
Okay. Dear Ajahn Brahmali Ayya Karunika, thank you very much for your clear teachings. Most importantly, for your inspiration to get us going on our spiritual path. Please do not give up on us. And please continue to try to dig us out from our dung as we go back to our respective piles of dung. That's Thank you also to Lehan or Lea Patricia and Huisia for taking good care of us. Thank you, Christina and Angus, for getting the place going well, especially the much-needed generator. And finally, thank you to my fellow retreatants for the smiles, the help and the concern. It has been a great 9 days. Wonderful, excellent, marvelous, splendid, etc., etc. That's great. So, another one? Okay, let's see what it says. So before I... Okay. Dear Ajahns, thank you for your teachings. You are very inspiring. I'm curious, with all your years of practice, when was the last time you noticed really a strong anger arise in your mind?
Sure,
and if you happen to remember the situation, it would be lovely to hear it too. But of course, no pressure at all. Yeah, thank you. Really strong anger arise in your mind. Yeah, I think one of the areas where it's easy to kind of get upset sometimes is when you read too much about kind of what's happening in the world. That's kind of where kind of sometimes you feel a bit fed up with what's going on. So sometimes you have to. It's nice to know a little bit about what's happening in the world, but not too much. That's kind of I think what I come down to. Otherwise, monastic life tends to be quite peaceful. There isn't that much to get angry about, usually. But of course, people are people. You'd be surprised to hear that monks and nuns, I presume as well, are still human beings. And so they do human being stuff, which sometimes is, it's, just, it is what it is. And so that's kind of how it goes. Yeah, I don't really want to talk too much about myself, but what I can say is like someone like Ajahn Brahm, I've been around him for over 30 years now, and he is a person who doesn't really get angry very much. Is it possible to say that he doesn't even have that most tiny, minor irritation sometimes? It's very, very hard to say for sure. But he seems to be one of those people who basically doesn't get angry, at least. But it's kind of rare, it's rare to find someone who has that kind of degree of equanimity,
Dear Ayya Karunika, do you have any more ghost stories? Let's keep that to one side. If we have energy towards the end, we can talk about ghost stories. Okay. Dear Ajahn Brahmali and Ayya Karunika, thank you both for sharing your knowledge and understanding of the Buddha Dhamma in this Sutta retreat. It's wonderful to see the natural harmony and respect between the male and female sanghas and the strengthening of the community as a whole. Thank you for your scholarship and skills as world-class communicators and storytellers. Thank you to the BSWA, Leha and the Jhana Grove crew for all their hard work, care and support. Oh, long one. Dear Ajahn, I would like to provide a very brief summary of meditation and understanding. Please correct me if I am wrong. For meditation, I learned from this retreat, number 1, Metta. May all sentient beings be well and happy. Recite this through the meditation and end with breath being with something. You don't have to go to breath, you can if you wish. And yes, may all beings be well and happy, but it's not just the words, but the idea is to develop the perception of where the words are pointing to, until a feeling also arises and a clarity comes. But you can also do a little bit more earlier to understand a little bit why you would want to wish everybody happiness. And so, because it's really not just like a parrot saying, and then you can just say that and the mind can still think other things. So then it will not work. So you have to be and do it probably slowly and really mean it. But later the phrase might become very small. You know the meaning. You are with that perception, and that itself will transform slowly. You will come to a point, even though in the beginning you felt like you were saying it, but when the metta meditation come to a point when it is just like what Ajahn Brahm calls the beautiful breath. With the breath meditation, every meditation goes through the same kind of phases. So when that happens in your metta meditation, that will happen kind of very effortlessly. In the beginning it felt like you were saying and meaning, then the thing would just happen as if it's somebody else is bringing it up. And you are very peaceful, silent and observing, and your perception of that beauty, the metta feeling is there. And all the other things will come into place, like nimittas and things, and you could enter deep meditation as well, so you don't have to move to breath. Death meditation, seeing ourselves at the deathbed and slowly dying and being with breath and slowly slowly die, and the people around us watching me dying, and seeing my own body and notice I'm dead, and that one breath and keep being with nobody, nothingness. That I'm not sure. Ajahn Brahmali does do a death meditation, guided death meditation, a little bit like this, and I have had really nice experiences doing that. But whether that is how the Buddha meant, that I am not sure. I'm sorry, Ajahn. Yeah. For me, the way I understand mindfulness of death is that very remembering that I will die anytime. Whether we have to do all of this process, if it is helpful, it is okay. What would you say?
Yeah, I think the the main idea is to remember it, obviously, but sometimes you need a bit of training to remember it in a powerful way. And so this is just to give you a bit of training to see the dying process, so that when you remember it later on, it will have some effect. I guess that's the idea, yeah.
Okay, being with breath like walking in the forest, not holding or controlling. That's correct, yeah. So being with rather than doing the breath meditation. Basically what I understand today to enhance our practice. Yeah. So in order to free from suffering and in reincarnation, we must first of all have right view and right understanding that everything is impermanent, no point craving and let go of all our sensual desires. All our stupidity behaviors are based on conditions, based on our past, and forced into perceive things that make us angry, sad. In order to free this emotion, it is practice meditation to still our mind so we don't fall to our conditions from the past, so that we can see, hear things as it without attachment, anger. And says, whether I understand correct, it's a lot. But the thing is, take it slowly. Yeah, you are on the right track is what I can see. But these things take a while to sink in. You have to repeatedly hear, repeatedly reflect, repeatedly practice, and slowly they get established. So like everything, practice makes perfect. Yeah, bhavana bahulikata. So doing it again and again, the practice, the cultivation, even understanding these things, you will grow. I couldn't see anything wrong. It's correct.
Yeah. The only thing I would say is when it comes to the giving up of sensual desires, be careful, go slowly. It's not something that you can force yourself to give up. It should ideally be given up naturally, because you're gradually losing your interest in those things. When your meditation deepens, the sensual world is just less interesting. If you force yourself to give them up, you're going to have a lot of suffering. It's going to be very unpleasant for you. So allow these things to happen pretty much as an outcome of the practice, rather than as something that you force yourself to do. Okay, wow, we're getting close to the end. It's good news. So, dear Ayya, that is not me, that is you. Yeah.
Ayya is also male, right?
Can be. Dear Ayya.
That's you, Ayya.
This is the last one over here, so you have to go first, because otherwise I
know you can go.
No, you first. Yep.
Yeah.
You have two, then I do one, and you do the last one. How's that?
Dear Ayya Karunika, have you an idea of a location for the training center you are planning? I believe you are paying to have a meditation retreat in Sri Lanka in August. Not really. Is that correct? Can we book, attend? No. So, okay, last one is easy. Yes, no, I have no plans to do a retreat in Sri Lanka in August, but there will be a retreat here in Jhana Grove in June. And we don't have a location yet. We are still looking for land, so not sure. We are looking in a large area, but a little bit cool country, not the really hot, not around beaches and really hot kind of area.
You're talking about Dhammadhita?
Yeah,
no,
yeah, Dhammadhita. That was a question about it. Yeah. So we don't really have a location. Keep watching, stay tuned in, and you will get to find out.
Yeah. Yes, and this is what this question is about as well. How can we best help the Sri Lankan project? And at the moment, we have been collecting funds for that project, doing fundraising, and of course this retreat is precisely about that. And so it's this wonderful that we can all come together in this very positive way. And for now, we have kind of put it a little bit on hold, because we want to find land first for establishing this place. And they're still looking in Sri Lanka. There's all kind of complications because of all the landslides and the rain and all the problems over there. So it has taken more time than we thought to find a piece of land. But they are kind of getting close now, and I'm hopeful that within the 2 or 3 months they will have found something here. So that is what we're doing, and then if you can just keep your ears and eyes open, and I'm sure there will be required more funding as well after that. Once we have the land, then we can design the buildings, and then we can get the cost estimate for the whole project, and then we can be a bit more direct about what are the financial requirements to make it a reality. But at the moment, we are not doing too much. I suggest just keep your ears open. We will make more announcements in the future about what is required. And if you're able to assist financially, that is probably the most important thing that we need at the moment and we will need in the future, then that is great. And then maybe one day we can invite to a retreat in Sri Lanka. That would be really cool. Maybe the BSWA can have a retreat in Sri Lanka. Lehar, do you want to organize it? That would be nice, yeah, in a tropical country. I usually teach a retreat in Sri Lanka every couple of years, and that's really nice to be in a Buddhist country with the beautiful, lush tropical forest, and it's a very different feeling from being in Australia. And anyway, just a crazy idea that just came up at the moment. Probably will never happen, but you never know. But anyway, thank you for taking an interest, and there will be more news in the future.
I have already another thing that nobody has thought about, because people are thinking only about the buildings and funds, right? But that's the easiest part, believe it or not. Really, funds come in. Doing buildings is really not that hard. The hard part is what comes after. Building up the community. This is a training center. We need to actually offer really high quality teachings. You'll be surprised. This is going on record. I'm sorry, but it needs to be said. And it is unfortunate there isn't really good Vinaya training for the bhikkhunis, good translations of even the Vinaya into Sinhala, like in local language, because this training center will be bilingual. It will have to be Sinhala as well as English, because there will be locals. It will be also open for foreigners to go and study. So, and I looked up some of the available ones, and it was shocking to me to see the differences. Even the Pali, there were a lot of errors in the Pali, in the Sinhala script. So therefore we also, because that is important, right? Because buildings will come up, no problem, it's guaranteed. But then what we do, those things also needs to be prepared. So this is a request. If any one of you know of anybody who is good with Pali, English and Sinhala, right? These three languages. If you have a contact, I can just say it out also because it's going on record. If anybody hearing this also, please do contact me, because I'm interested to find somebody to help. I'm doing some work, but I need some help with, especially with the Sinhala part, because we need high quality material for especially for the Vinaya, because Suttas are there. That's not difficult, but for the Vinaya training part, it is really helpful if there is, and there's quite a lot. So it's quite a bit of work. So I'm looking for some help.
There should be lots of people in Sri Lanka with us.
There should be. I'm putting this out so people can contact me. So write to Santi office. If you go to Santi Forest Monastery website, the office email, you can reach me.
Have you reached out to Venerable Dhammadhita? Because he personally probably has those abilities, and he's very likely to know someone.
Yeah, I'm looking for also somebody who may be a lay person, and preferably a female, might be also better, like you suggested, for Bhikkhuni Vinaya than working with a monk.
Yeah.
If not, then we have no choice. But that would be ideal. Yeah. So that's a great help right now to help out with these things, which has to go hand in hand, because otherwise you'll have buildings and then you have to get started. So that also has to come in, and that's in my mind more than the buildings and the land. Yeah. Okay.
But one of the ideas, just to make that clear as well, so people don't misunderstand. Is that one of the reasons why we are doing this is precisely to be able to provide good training. That's kind of the purpose of this project. And we have quite good training here in Australia for bhikkhus and for bhikkhunis. And so it is to kind of merge that, so we can do things over Zoom, we can do things internationally, we can have an exchange program, between the bhikkhunis or whatever. And so that's to be able to provide this. That's kind of the one of the main reasons why we're doing this.
Yeah, so that will be in English, and we can do some of those kind of master classes together, but we also still need good translators. Even they will be attended by both, so even if it is an English master class, you still need translators and and translated material. So yeah, that's true. Okay. So dear Ayya, last night you mentioned at your first retreat you saw light in front of you. Did you see the light with your eyes open? Yes, the light was there both open and closed eyes. Yes. That's because it's not anywhere, it's in your mind. So you can see it anywhere. Before you saw the light, can you remember what you were thinking? This is going back 20 years. I wasn't thinking very much. I was very peaceful. Were you using metta, or are you thinking of I was actually more into present moment, because in that retreat for the first time I learned what present moment was. I was very excited, having discovered for the first time present moment. Do you know how Ajahn Brahm teaches present moment? This is how he teaches. He has long gaps between his words. What are you doing? You're silent, alert, waiting to hear when I'm speaking next. So each time you stop, silent, hear, you are present. So I was very excited. Do you remember? This is the kind of thing he did, and I discovered, wow, present moment. I've never met present moment. So I was mostly in the present moment, like discovering, like being silent and being aware and being present. So not thinking. Okay. I'm thinking of the... okay. Were you, good values of your father? Was I thinking of those things? No, meditation. You're deeper into meditation, that light. What? Take you deeper into meditation. So I wasn't thinking, I was doing. That's probably why it was so good. Later on you get messed up because you realize all kinds of things and you start to do meditation. Then of course you start going backwards. So yeah, the best is to be a beginner every time. Then the meditation is much better, not to expect anything. How old were you at that time? Now you ask these questions. I would have been around 30. I don't know, pressure. Personal question. If you were into any relationship before you before you ordained, if yes, how did it affect you? Thank you very much for your experience. Deeply appreciate with metta. Kind of not an easy question to say in a way whether I had a relationship. When I was at age 9, I already decided I don't want to get married, have children. I don't know, not knowing what getting married and having children was about. It was a little bit there in my mind. So I was never pursuing relationships in my life too much. Like in the sense, like there was a time like when I'm like in my 20s, because it's kind of biological, you think. So I was considering if there was this, and there was this huge list, it was impossible. There would be nobody. It would be like an arahant maybe. Then I might have a relationship. But no such person exists. And even if there was, will they want me? Anyway, so that's the kind of attitude I had. Whether I did have a relationship, I have had a very short-lived, uninterested, not really feeling like wanting to commit, because I didn't want to get married or have a relationship. But sometimes things happen and you get a bit too involved with somebody. But because it was not a very big involvement, it didn't really affect me at all. And it was only short and long time ago. By the time I was into ordination, I have been practicing for a long time, meditation and everything. So already at home, I was already like a monastic. In fact, I was living on 8 precepts for several years as well. So I would say no. There was no issues then at the time of when I was ordaining and stuff like that. That's all.
Okay, wow, we made it through. It's amazing, isn't it? Yeah, it's empty. Emptiness is always the best. Okay, everyone, so that's it for tonight. So please have another good night's rest. Remember, there's still possibilities to do some meditation until the last moment. So we'll come out again tomorrow morning and carry on. So we'll see you again tomorrow morning. Let's finish off by doing the Arahang Samma Sambuddha together. Arahang Samma Sambuddho Bhagava Buddhang Bhagavantang Abhivademi Svakato Bhagavata Dhammo Dhammang Namasami Supatipanno Bhagavato Savaka Sangho Sanghang Namami. Mm-hmm.